Hipper here. So many of you have asked me, so how does the Belfast 43 now perform after the buff? Because you didn't like it much before, and I am unhappy to say that it is pretty much the same. But don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and share, guys. So on the ship I'm using one of Chili Games 17's favorite builds, this one here with turret, and it gives you pretty much all the smoke you could possibly need, or at least close to it. Also, I run a concealment build as well, so we're getting the concealment down to 9 kilometers, which is really good, and that will help you a lot in this ship here, because it can't take any hits. And also, just notice the smokes here, we have 7 of them, and the dispersion time is actually longer than the regeneration time, meaning that you can just keep popping smokes and keep staying hidden for as long as you have smokes, which with 7 smokes is just about 6 minutes. So the 2 Belfast 43 games I showed you last week were on this exact map as well, the hotspot map. And it should be a perfect map for Belfast 43, and it kind of is. It's just, once you've, done your thing, then, well, if your team doesn't really perform, then chances are you're going to lose. And that's my main problem with this ship here. It's not very versatile. It has the, the one trick up its sleeve, which, I have smoke, and I also have a radar. And I mean, yeah, that's super helpful and, can work very well in divisions. As a solo ship, I don't know what I really... Well, I know what I think. I don't think it's very good. I much prefer something like Edinburgh that can actually put out a lot more hurt, and you'll just have to, miss out on the smoke. And honestly, smoke, I don't know. It's situational, really. Like in this situation here, I would have been fine in Edinburgh. I wouldn't need the smoke. I could just bow tank these guys here, and it'd still be the same result, really. So I don't really like Belfast much. I don't hate the ship. It's just not a ship that I enjoy playing, and it seems to be the same for most of the community because, I don't see many people playing this ship, and it makes total sense to me. Because, yes, it was buffed. It has a faster reload now, which it's certainly needed. But it's not enough. One thing that could save this ship was to give it the same AP as Edinburgh has, and then just get rid of the HE. That could quite possibly make Belfast, tolerable. But the buff is, a step in the right direction. I mean, does it pump out more damage? Yeah, it definitely does. Not by a lot, really, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you are kind of relying on fires in the ship here, because like you saw before with the Algerie, the AP is not very good unless the ships are absolutely broadside. Again, Edinburgh's AP would have absolutely punished that French cruiser, but Belfast, it's just nothing. And that's just get a little bit annoying in the long run. And of course, also another thing to keep in mind is that we're getting the Plymouth this update here. And as far as I can tell, it looks like an Edinburgh, just with Belfast armor, but keeping the AP shells off the Edinburgh, and better torpedoes, and no less than 4 extra barrels. I mean, that to me sounds almost crazy, because that's 40% more firepower than Minotaur has. So we'll see how that ship turns out. I think it could be really, really good. I did hear a little bit of chatter around the edges that it's not going to be very agile, and I hope that's not the case, because if it's going to be as unagile as Belfast, then it's not going to be a ship that I will enjoy playing. And I'll show you later what I mean in this video here, because it's not that Belfast is slow, or like has a slow rudder and stuff like that. It's just that it takes forever to do anything in this ship here. To get moving, taking forever. Stopping takes even longer. It takes like a year. It's horrible. And you will see at the end of this video why that's such a problem. With this chili build here, we also have to remember that our smoke only lasts, or only puts out smoke for 8 seconds. Meaning that you cannot just pop the smoke and then start reversing or stopping. You have to be almost at a standstill before you pop this smoke, otherwise it won't cover you and you're gonna get railed. So just keep that in mind with this this build here, because that's what makes it difficult. Like you have to get in, for example, in this case, get into the cap, get into a good position, slow down to like a few knots, and then you pop your smoke. So you are extremely vulnerable while you're doing that. And that's, of course, in some way, like to, balance out the fact that you have almost unlimited smoke for 6 minutes. And yeah, it's just something to be aware of, really. So now we've done our job over here. The cap is 1, and the other cap has been thoroughly lost. So someone will have to make the perilous journey across the middle of the ocean here, and it's not going to be me, because there's just no way I would survive that. There's too many battleships out there. So I will just sit here and do the best I can in peace and quiet for as long as I possibly can, really. And this is where, the improved reload comes into play, because yeah, you can, pump out more damage, but damage doesn't really mean much in this game here. And burning battleships, as fun as it may be for some people, it's not really the way you win. Well, it can be, but in general, it's not. I would much rather be, like I said before, in Edinburgh. And actually, if I wasn't that, I could have just bow tanked this eye over here, and I could get to the island in the middle. And Edinburgh has torpedoes. I know Belfast 43 has torpedoes as well, but Belfast would never make it out to that island in the first place. So it's just not a very mobile ship. I mean, it's a smoke ship, and once you kind of use that gimmick, then it's really only if the red team allows you to make use of that gimmick again that you can actually use it. And I just don't like that. So as you probably guessed, there's going to be a lot of HE spam here. So we're just gonna, speed up the gameplay a little bit here, where I go from 50,000 to 150,000 in a matter of a few minutes, just because I sit here behind the mountain and set ships on fire that can't do anything about it. Yeah, if you watch this channel, you know how much I despise this kind of gameplay here, and I don't think it's good for the game. And anyway, we've covered that a lot already. And as you can see, the battleships are just lining up to be burned here. And unfortunately, this is where I make the mistake that I was talking about earlier in the game, where I forget that this ship here just doesn't stop when you want it to. Because I'm going backwards now, because this Brandenburg is coming to get me. And it just takes too long on this ship here. And I cannot really blame that on the ship, although it is the ship's fault. But it's just as much my fault for not remembering that, yeah, this is no Edinburgh. So I'm thinking, okay, I might actually get this guy with a torpedo instead. So I was kind of hoping that that would happen. But also the torpedoes are anemic on this ship here. So it does get us a Confederate along with the high caliber. But like once you get rushed by other ships in this ship here, yeah, even with those 3 torpedoes, it's an uphill battle. At least in Edinburgh, you can just bow tank them. But Belfast 43, yeah. I mean, if you still haven't bought this game, or this ship here, I wouldn't buy it. I would wait and see how Plymouth turns out in a week or 2, and yeah, and of course, if you don't have Belfast 43 already, there's no way of getting it anyway. So don't cry your eyes out. Anyway, that was a 2,000 XP loss here, high caliber Confederate. So hope you enjoyed it, and see you out there.